How you doing? My name's Ken Sternberg, aka Crazy Kenny. My prison number was 54184-066. This is a fireside chat with your friendly neighborhood ex-convict, Crazy Kenny. There'll be no cutaways, no pictures of my childhood, no pictures of my criminal activity. I'm not here to be a rat. I'm not going to tell you about the inner workings of my organization. I'm not going to show you me bagging up dope. I'm not going to sit here and play with my gun and show you this is my 9. I'm not going to give you and show you footage of me doing crimes or the people that I've done crimes with. Just sit back and relax, because at some point you will feel uncomfortable. This is just my story, because I am a real OG, and I'm letting you know how it happened. John, you better put my fucking bike in this movie. There's no cutaways except for my bike. Wow. Well, it wasn't that night, but that was the start of it. The start of my transformation from the fly, the Crazy Kenny, was I was going through a lot of things at home. A lot of things with an ex-girlfriend. I just got tired of, I guess, the bullshit with life and not being accepted as much. I mean, I wasn't like other people. I wasn't like other kids. I wasn't into sports. I wasn't into, I don't know, I wanted more. I wanted power. I wanted nice things. I wanted bikes and cars and, I wanted cool shit. I wanted to be cool, And I used to go, it was crazy as I would see these, I would go to psychs. So like, I would go to, like, say, what do you call them? Fucking, tarot card readers, right? People that were psychics. And they'd bug out when I would go see them. They would, like, there was this black, weird, crazy aura around me. They would just like trip out. They couldn't wait to get rid of me. Like I was like, I don't know. It was crazy. I had some sort of fucking weird power or something around. So I started getting into looking into black magic stuff. It kind of intrigued me. So I went to an occult shop. I'll never forget. I went to this occult shop off of South Street, and I got all this ritual stuff and books by Israel McGarty and Anton Zandler LeVay and Aleister Crowley and all these. I just wanted to, I don't know, I was intrigued by this stuff. I just wanted to make something happen. I wanted to see, what this power, this black cloud was around me. It was crazy. So one day, after a girl left my house, I guess it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, I started doing this ritual. I was going through it with my ex, so I was trying to, get over her and all the crazy shit that she had put me through. And I had all these black candles lit, and I had these cauldron, and I'm burning things, and I'm doing these rituals. I just want to make something happen, like something, And it's crazy. I guess, when you put 100% in anything, something's going to come out of it. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Walt Disney. So I had all my heart and soul, and I was just into it, man. I just wanted something to happen. I wanted to have power. And next thing you know, I'm doing this ritual, and the fire out of nowhere comes flying out of this cauldron, hits the ceiling, it goes blank. Smoke comes down the walls, and all the candles and all the lights go out in the whole room. Bugged me out. I freaked out. I didn't know what the hell happened. And I scooped up everything, scared the shit out of me, and put it away. And I laid down. And then the next day, things started to change. And I don't know, I just felt different. Wait a minute, kill it.
You're good. We can pick it up.
Well, I mean, there was, you know what it was? There was a part, I was visited. I left that part out. When I laid down on that couch, I woke up like an hour later. I felt something, I couldn't breathe. There was something on my chest. I couldn't breathe, and it felt like there was this heavy weight on my chest, and I opened my eyes, and there's this crazy-ass thing staring at me. Like big greenish blue eyes, red eye. I mean, it was just crazy, staring at me, breathing on me, and I couldn't breathe. I remember this heavy thing, and it covered every light in the room. There was nothing, man. It just was like unfolded into this big crazy, this sounds crazy.
Keep telling the story, dude.
Huh?
Just keep telling the story.
Well, so obviously I'm freaked out. I'm kind of in shock for a while. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, what the fuck, right? Then I'm getting up, walking around, bugging out, whatever. I lay it back down. I'm thinking I'm just tripping, man. It was a dream, man. I'm fucking tripping. What the hell was that, you know? But the crazy part about it is, looking back, it's like, things started happening shortly after that. Things started coming with ease. You know what I mean? Like I was selling a little weed, stuff like that then. And all of a sudden, like, you know, I was like, there was a girl I was interested in. All of a sudden I ended up hooking up with her like that. You know what I mean? Different girls, bam, 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 bang, one after the other, man, just recognizing me, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm getting attention, you know what I mean? I start picking up different things. I picked up a car, I ended up picking up, I picked up a hot rod, put it together. I started racing again. Things started getting real cool with that. And then next thing you know, I ended up getting this chopper. That was a basket case. It was in 1 million pieces. My buddy had it. I always wanted this bike. And it was the guy that owned it sold it to this dude I knew. And I went over there. I'm like, oh my God, you got that bike? And he's like, yeah. So he was all in his car. I had like a dual quad 68 Chevelle, canary yellow, right? And he loved this car. And I'm like, man, I want that bike. And he says, yeah, man, I took it apart to rebuild it. And I couldn't figure out how to put this thing back together yet. So I was like, man, I'll tell you what, I'll give you this car, give me all that shit, right? Yeah, like the front end over here, the frames over here, the tire over there, the engine's all torn apart. So I get it all together. It's not like Abbott crates, it's in milk crates, you know? So I get all these parts together, and I bring them home with me. I'm living in like a duplex in the extra room of my buddy's house. So I got these parts in his living room. I'm literally putting this fucking bike together in the living room, right? And I got like a little service manual. I never put a bike together. You know, I had like little race burner bikes and stuff like that. I never put a Harley together. It's going to be my first Harley, right? And it's like all my buddies, they're riding now. They got bikes. So, man, I'd like to have a fucking bike, ride with them, go places they go, you know? So I'm putting this bike together. I mean, it's like day and night. I'm reading manual, putting this fucking thing together. I assembled the engine. I put the engine back on this frame. I put the front end, everything's on this fucking bike. It's in the living room in front of my buddy's entertainment center, you know? And I finally get the carburetor on it. Everything's on it. It's all wired up. And my buddy, it's like, it's a fucking major snowstorm outside. My buddy's screwing his old lady in the back room. And I'm staring at this bike, and I can't take it, man. I was like, I want to know if this motherfucker runs. So I'm like, fuck it, man. So I go outside, I grab a gallon of gas, I bring it in the house, I fill up the gas tank. I'm literally in the fucking in the living room, kickstarting this thing, blah, blah, blah. So this thing fires up, man. I'm just, It was crazy, man. It's like, pop, pop, pop. I'm sitting there. My buddy comes out in his little tiny whitey screaming, shut it off, shut it off. Oh, it's so fucking funny. I'm like, wait, man, just wait 1 minute. I got the whole apartment full of smoke. Funny as hell. So I end up opening the door, and I just rode it straight out that motherfucking door in the snow. It was crazy. I'm all over the place. It was insane. And let me tell you something. It was like a fucking lightning bolt hit me square in the forehead, man. I knew it was on. It was fucking on at that point. It was crazy, man. I know it, man. And it was like a whole life changer. I think Crazy Kenny was born right then and there. Don't let anyone tell you what you can't do. Follow your dreams and persist. Barack Obama.
Tell the story. Like, I was working out in this gym.
Yeah, I was working out in a gym. There used to be a neighborhood gym I used to work out in. The guy had a chiropractic office in the gym. And my back was always getting tweaked and stuff. I mean, I had a kind of a rough paper route, so, some days were good, some days weren't good. So a lot of times after a workout, I'd go see him. We became buddies. And one day he asked me, he said, what do you do for a living, man? He says, I see you come in here, you got these pretty girls all the time. He says, you come with different cars. You're always on a nice Harley. What are you doing? What do you do? I thought, I told him, I do a little this, a little that. I do multiple things. I do mechanic work and I do other things. He says, I got a problem. Can I run it by you? I think you might be able to help me. I said, sure, what's up? So he tells me about this guy, some Italian dude that was out of Philly. Claimed he was connected somehow, but he wasn't. It was later I checked him out. But anyway, the dude was like a degenerate gambler. He had a business in Philly. And bottom line, he was buddies with this guy. And about a year and a half prior to this conversation I'm having with him, he lent this guy some money. The guy was hurting. He lent him $30,000. So, at the time, my man that was doing the chiropractic work and stuff, he was doing good, but that business kind of got funny. So he went and he asked his buddy, his friend that he gave the money to without question and never asked for it back. Hey man, times are tough right now. You plan on paying me this money back. So the guy kept blowing him off. Yeah, tomorrow, next month, next year. Just kept blowing him off. So with that said, he asked me, do you do collection work? And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do sometimes. So he said, well, what do you think about what I just told you? I said, I got it. I'm done. Just give me the guy's information. So I go have it checked out. And I seen the guy about 2 weeks later. And the guy's a nobody. He's just some lame that's, he was a part of anything. And just a piece of shit, he didn't look out for somebody who looked out for him. So I seen him. I said, look, check this out. I'm going to take care of that for you, man. I got this. Really? I said, yeah, I'll probably do it next week. I'm going to go visit that guy. So I give the guy a call. I said, yeah, I'm going this week. And he tells me, oh, yeah, I talked to him. I let him know. I told him my man's coming to get that money, right? I said, you did what? You gave this guy a heads up? He's like, yeah, man. He said, why? What's the problem? The guy's a real square, he don't really know. He was a good guy, though, man. I felt for him. And bottom line was this. He looked out for me, so I wanted to look out for him. So anyway, I said, well, what did he say when you told him that you had somebody coming to collect the money? And he told me he wasn't trying to hear that. He said, I'm not trying to hear that. He said, tell me to go get it off the light post like everybody else can. I said, okay. So I got a friend of mine, big biker dude, real good dude, man. And I knew he was hurting for a little bit of bread. So I was like, man, you want to make some money? He said, yeah. I said, look, I'm going to go visit this dude at his business. I said, we find him, I'm going to holler at him. I get him where I need to get him. I'll give you the look, you grab him, and we're going to have a talk. I said, cool, let's go. So we load up in this little minivan, right? This big old biker dude's got like one of them Brady Bunch minivans with the Partridge Family with the wood on it, funny shit. So I'm breaking his balls about the van all the way to the job. And we get to this place, we're sitting, there's a little place you could eat where this guy's business was at. So I'm sitting there, and we get a couple burgers, and we're eating, and I noticed this is him. You can tell this dude's the owner. He's sitting in the corner drinking. So I walked up to him. I said, "Hey, how you doing, man?" I said, "You got a minute? I got a business proposition for you." He said, "Yeah, sure. What's up?" I said, "Somewhere we could talk." So this dummy fucking goes, "Yeah, follow me," right? After he was told, he doesn't even fucking remember. I mean, I don't know. So we go down in the basement of this guy's business. My buddy comes with me. The guy sits down behind his desk, and I fucking gave him a look. So John grabs him, pulls him into the chair. I walked up to him, my Gerber knife, and I cut his ear off. So the dude's just sitting there freaking out in the chair, and I'm looking at him like, dude, you hear me now, motherfucker? You know who I am now? You hear me now? Right? The guy's just freaking. I said, "Where's my motherfucking money at? Let me get that money that you owe my man," right? So he's freaking. All of a sudden, he's got money. Man, it's over there, it's over there. So we go to the safe. He opens up the safe. The guy's got to have $150,000 in cash in the safe. This guy couldn't pay his buddy off. So I told my boy, I said, "Listen, man, do me a favor. Go over there and grab that money." She grabs the money. I said, "Sit the fuck down or I'll blast you," right? He was sitting right there. And I had my piece out. So the guy, he goes and he gets the fucking money out of the safe. I told my boy, I said, "Listen, man, count me $30,000 out for my man." So he gets the $30,000 out. I said, "Oh, let me get another 10,000. That dude's looking at me, said, "This 10,000 is for you making me get blood all over my motherfucking knife. This 10,000 is for me making you cut that ear off." Fuck. So he put the fucking rest of the money back. John's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I said, "We ain't here to rob him. I want the fucking money that he owes his boy." Now he paid. That was nice of him. That was nice of you, man. You paid for this guy. We got the fucking money. That's the interest. And I paid him on the way out. We got in his van. It was so funny because, my big buddy, he was like in shock. He's usually talking all the time. This dude's like this, and he's in shock walking down the fucking highway. We're going on 95. This dude's in shock. Man, I'm like, "What's wrong?" He says, "Man, bro, you didn't tell me you were going to cut the fucking dude's ear off." He says, "Man, I've never seen that before." I said, "Man, what, you don't think I was tripped out too?" I said, "You know, like that thing was like holding a butterfly. Man, I'm knocking on this. It's like, bam, 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 bam. Hello? So I ended up giving him $5,000. Man, he was happy. It was hurting. He needed money for his kids and all. And I seen that guy that weekend. Gave him his fucking money. And the guy couldn't believe it. Obviously, the dude wasn't going to call him back, because I told him, man. I said, "Man, don't let me find out you talk to this dude. Next time we ain't taking just an ear." So he insisted on giving me $10,000. I said, "Man, so that's on the house, bro." I said, "Man, I feel bad. You always look out for me. Dude paid for you. It's on the house. He still slipped me $10,000. So it wasn't bad. 25 minutes worth of work. I made $15,000. My buddy made $5,000. Everybody was happy. Dude I guess he glued his ear back on. I never heard from him after that. I don't know if he could hear anything from anybody. He had that one ear, but yeah, that's the story, baby. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs. Let me tell you how Canada happened. Pretty much, okay. I ended up meeting a girl during spring break in Wildwood from Canada, and she was hot. She was a bad chick from Canada. Fucking, I started going. We were hanging out together in Wildwood for a while. Then I started going back and forth to Canada. And Canada was a pretty cool place because, in the States, everything's like taboo. Everything's wide open in Canada. You know what I mean? Like, the strip bars, everything's just wide open. The nightlife, it was great, right? So one day, I call up my boy G. And I'm like, "Yeah, what are you doing this weekend?" And he's like, "I'm not doing nothing. What's up?" I said, "Come on, we're gonna take a trip." She said, "I said, pack a couple days, right?" So I ended up picking him up, and we go to the airport. And he's like, "Where the hell are we going?" I said, "Don't worry about it, man. I got this, man. We're going to Canada." He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, we're going to Canada. It's going to be a blast." "You've been to Canada yet?" He's like, "No." So we hop on a Lufthansa flight. It took about an hour and a half to get there from Philly. It takes like 9 hours to drive, So we went there, and we go to Montreal. And I introduced him to the nightlife there. Pretty much we're going to the bars and the clubs, and it's just crazy. And the chicks out there are crazy. So anyway, we got a room. He ends up hooking up with some call girls, right? So anyway, he ends up getting he ends up falling for this chick. He ends up getting kind of like a relationship with this girl. And the girl's telling her how, basically that her main guy, her pimp or whatever, is always beating her ass and this, that, thing. And she just wants out of it. And telling him about how, the dude's he's got all this crazy stuff in his place. He's got a safe. Right? So I don't know where this conversation's going with these guys. So like a few weeks later, my buddy says, yo, we're going to take a ride out to Canada. I said, really? He said, for what? So he's like, we got a safe job to do. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, nah, man, we're gonna go bang this safe, that jerk off that was fucking beating this old lady. We're gonna go over there and hit this safe. So, all right, let's go. Fuck it, man. Let's go, right? So we get in this car, we drive out there. We got fucking all kinds of crazy ass tools and everything in the car. We're ready to go. So we drive out there, and we go to this address. And it's crazy. It's snowing its ass off out there. And the way to get into this dude's apartment, there was like a spiral staircase. It's a pretty tight spiral staircase, So we're going up the spiral staircase. We go up into this dude's apartment. And he's got all these talking birds in there, right? It's crazy. These things are screaming the fucking owner's name and all that. Apparently, this dude's away on vacation for the weekend or whatever it was. It's funny as hell, man. I'm trying not to laugh, right? We're there looking around for the safe. We find the safe. It's bolted to the floor. These birds are freaking the fuck out. They're like talking, screaming his name. Fuck you, this, that, thing. And so we're unbolting the safe out of the ground. It's like lag bolted into the floor. We get this fucking safe, so we get it up, and it's heavy as hell, right? So we get into the door, and we end up using like this big tarp thing, right? He puts it around the thing, and he's holding it. We got this thing over. So, he's a big boy. And he's got this thing over his shoulder, and I'm stabling it on the way down backwards, going down this fucking spiral staircase, right? So we're going down the staircase, going down the stairs. We get it to the bottom, and we like literally drag this thing to this fucking car, right? And it's just so funny and thinking back, man, we don't even give a fuck who's launching or nothing. We're dragging this dude safe across the parking lot. Right? So we get to the fucking car, we open up the back door, and it's like, we can't get the fucking safe in the door. And it's too fucking big, right? So I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? All right, we'll put it in the trunk. So we open up the trunk, and he's got like an old fucking a Grand Am or whatever. This thing is not fitting in the trunk. So we're like, what the fuck are we going to do? Right? So he starts laughing, right? He's like, look, we're gonna drag it. What? He's like, yeah, fuck it, man. We'll just drag it to the fucking hotel room and bust it open. We get a room and bust it open in the motel. Is he serious? He's like, oh yeah. So we're laughing, right? We got this thing wrapped up in a fucking tarp, pretty much, like a heavy fucking tarp. We got it tied to the fucking car, and we're dragging it down the highway in the snow. Things fucking like this, going back and forth in the snow. Whatever. I'm like, oh my God, man. What are we going to tell a cop if we get pulled over with this fucking safe, right? Safe swinging backwards in the snow. And we get that thing in the fucking, we get a room, and we're dragging it up into the room in this big ass safe, right? So we're in there with like chisels and hammers. We got the music going, fucking cranked up. I can imagine what the people thought in the room next door. We're banging, bam, 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 trying to get this fucking safe open. Oh, hilarious. Anyway, we ended up, it wasn't all what was cracked up to be what was in the safe, but the mission was accomplished. Yeah, left the safe in the hotel room, all busted open. Crazy.
Nice.
Crazy. Some of the shit we did back in the past was just, man, it's like, how the fuck did we get away with the dumb shit? Like, we just didn't care. We just didn't care, man. It was whatever the mission was, whatever it's on, let's do it. You can't take back, man. You know, it's crazy. The simple act of paying attention can take you a long way. Keanu Reeves. This shit was so crazy. Check this out. He parks on the side. I open up the gate. I go to get back in the car, and I go to reach for the handle, and it's like the fucking car rolls back. It was the craziest shit I ever seen. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I got dizzy, man. I'm not on shit, you know what I mean? I'm like, what? It was like, so I go to reach for the handle again, and it's like I missed the handle again. Like the car was backing up, like, don't go in there. I know this shit's crazy, right? I mean, like, I'm like, what the fuck? I grab the damn handle, I jump in the car, I pull the car in. But thinking back, it's like this car was fucking telling me not to go into the fucking lot. Something was telling me, not the car, but whatever it was moving this car, don't go in there. So I pull the car in. I shut the car off. Now, it's like a duplex, and they lived up top. So I'm walking up these pressure-treated steps. They don't have kickers on them, you know, you can see right through them. So I'm pulling up the steps, and I see the little girls. I go, where's Kathy at? And they're like, man, she's outside. I said, well, she's not. I didn't see her nowhere. Man, she was outside waiting for you. I said, for real? I said, I didn't see her. I said, listen. So I wrote the numbers down from my pager from where I was staying in Philly and all that stuff. I said, look, if you need me for anything, if anything happens around here, you make sure you call me. So I give him the numbers, and I give Kathy her keys back. All right, so I give him a hug, and they go upstairs. So I'm going down the steps, and I feel a pull. I'm like 6 steps from the bottom. Now, remember, it's like 8:30 at night. So it's dark as hell. The only thing at the top of the steps was like a light bulb. That's it, right? So there was no real light down there. So I'm going down the steps, and I feel a pull. Like it was almost like I felt like it was like a splinter or something grabbed my jeans. So I turn around to see what it is, and here comes a snub-nosed 357 right out the fucking kicker. Boom, like that. So I hit it. Boom! It goes off. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I hear some ruffle, like somebody took off. So I go running up the stairs. I go running back up the stairs, right? And all I taste, I don't know that I'm shot, but all I taste is gunpowder. I'm like, what the fuck, right? So I go upstairs, and then it hit me, man. I'm like queasy as shit. I touched down here, and it's all blood. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm bleeding out the side of my leg. I'm bleeding back here. I'm bleeding here. I'm bleeding everywhere, man. So I get nauseous as hell because apparently this blew my stomach apart, my intestines and everything, my ureter, everything was blown apart. So I drop down on one knee, and the girls come down the steps. They're like, crazy Caddy, what's up? And I'm like, yo, go upstairs. Go upstairs. I'm like, oh my God, man. Last thing I need is to die in front of these little girls, right? They're adorable, man. I would kill them, right? So I go upstairs. Go in your room. Close the door. So I'm down there on one knee. I'm trying to regain my composure. Man, I'm so sick, right? And don't you know the door opens behind me? And it's Kathy, and she's got the fucking gun in her hand. I'm like, what the fuck? I said, that was you? She says, man, I love you. I was just playing. You hit it, the gun went off, right? I'm like, are you serious? Oh my God, Kathy, what the fuck is wrong with you? I told you not to play with that thing. Are you serious? I said, get rid of the gun. Get rid of the gun. Go hide the gun. Go hide the bullets. Get rid of this fucking gun, Kath. Right? So anyway, I'm hearing sirens and everything in the background. These girls looked over and seen Kathy standing over me with the gun and called 911 and told them that Kathy shot me. So next thing you know, what's crazy is they used to call me Crazy Kenny. The little girls call me Crazy Kenny too, right? So I guess when they called 911, they said, Kathy shot Crazy Kenny. So, now I'm in Ridley Township. It's like dead or alive for me, Ridley Township, man. I mean, with all the fucking police chases and everything I had with them people, they hated me. With the race cars and the bikes and all that stuff. So, man, everybody shows up. I mean, the fucking snorkel fire truck shows up. Everything, fire, paramedics, everybody. And they're all calling me, hold on, Crazy Kenny, right? So I'm down on the ground at this part, man. I'm like almost out. I mean, blood's just pumping out of me. So I'm lying on the ground, and they pull out the scissors. I'm like, oh, hell no, don't cut my vest. I just got a new vest and a new fucking Harley that it was funny. So they're trying to shit, man, come on, we got to cut it. Don't cut my shit. So they ended up cutting the straps off of it to get it off me, and they got me like half naked on the fucking ground, putting their fingers in the exit holes everywhere. I'm like traumatized, man. This is crazy. And it's crazy. They end up putting me in the gurney, and they bring me down the steps, and it's wintertime. It's fucking cold. I guess when you run out of blood, you get it even colder, you know? So they're running me down to the ambulance. And the craziest part about it was, you know when you watch a movie and the dude coughs up blood in the oxygen mask? He usually bites it then, you know what I'm saying? It's over. And don't you know, they're like, hold on, Crazy Kenny, just hold on. They're checking. I guess they check your blood type, whatever. Anyway, I coughed. I remember coughing. I coughed blood up so hard out that mask, it went up into my eyes. I was just, I said, oh, I'm dead. I'm done. They're just, hold on. And it seemed like it took forever to get to that hospital. And that was pretty close. It was like, 10 minutes away. But it seemed like forever. That's how I ended up in the hospital. Shot. The only thing better than winning is winning when nobody thought you could. Hank Aaron. I jumped up in the operating room screaming, let me die, after I came back. They brought me back. Man, these nurses wouldn't even want to work with me. They thought I was the devil. They thought I was Satan himself. All the black girls, I'd be pulling stuff off in intensive care, and bells and whistles are going off. They wouldn't even come in and fuck with me. I had biker old ladies coming up, rubbing my feet, taking care of me, washing me down in intensive care, literally because these nurses were scared to fuck with me because they thought, man, it ripped through fucking Chester Crozier. Like, this dude just came out of anesthesia after he died. He brought him back, popped out of anesthesia, and literally got up on the table. I was cut from here to here. I was like, let me die, right? It was crazy. And ultimately, the whole experience of coming out of my body with no pain and being able to breathe like that, it's like your body really restricts you. I noticed this. When I came out, I was like, wow. I was like the air. I was part of the room. I'm watching everybody. I'm watching them work on me. Bam, 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 hit me with defibrillators. They covered something over my stomach so my guts wouldn't spill out. You know what I mean? They're hitting me. And I was completely free of pain. I never breathed so good in my life. It was like breathing through a fucking mint. I mean, like literally, I was like, whoa. And you want to talk about total clarity? There had to be 8, 9 people in that operating room. And I could see every one of them, whether they were here. I could look at them in the eyes and understand what they were saying and watching what they were doing at the same time. She was insane. And then I heard that oscilloscope, beep, beep, beep. Because it was like, wee, the whole time they were operating on me. And when my fucking heart started, but they got a pulse, I slammed back in that body, and it was so traumatized. It was like, holy shit. I literally popped out of anesthesia. I was screaming, let me die. Fucking let me die. And they kept bringing me back. The pain, holy shit, man. The pain was so fucking intense, bro. It was like, I can't even explain it to you. I mean, my body was so traumatized. I had a hole here, hole back here, hole over here. I'm bleeding out my mouth. My fucking ass was blown. My intestines were blown, shredded. Am I on camera? Wow.
Camera's right there, dude.
Oh, you did that. All right. Yeah, man. I mean, I got slammed back into a body that was so traumatized, man, from all the holes. I mean, you gotta understand, my intestines were shredded. I was shot with 357 hydroshocks. So when they hit you, they explode. 357 Magnum with Federal hydroshocks. So when it hit me through here, it came through my leg and it came out here. So it ripped everything across. The ureter tube that goes from my bladder to my urethra was shredded. It was gone. My intestines were shredded. I had a hole here, and a hole here. If you look at that, the tattoo there, it says 357 didn't do it. That was the bullet. There was a pin in the middle of those rounds that came out through my back. Okay, so I mean, like, my body was so fucked up, and it's like I guess my endorphins didn't get a chance to build up and help fight some of that pain. So now I come from the dead, so to speak, slammed back into this body, and I was so peaceful out of my body. I was like, wow. I was like, I breathed so freely, you know, and everything was just so clear and bright. And now I'm back into this fucking body again, man. I remember, man. I remember screaming. I remember him pulling me down onto the gurney and putting me back out. It was insane, insane. Next thing you know, I woke up in intensive care. And I remember waking up, and I got hoses in my nose and everywhere, and my hands. I'm like, I'm wired up, like. And everybody's in my room. Everybody. There's like flowers and balloons, and they had me in this monster room, and my daughter was there holding my hand. It was crazy, you know. She was like so young. She was like 8 or 9 or something. That's the first time, I'll never forget, my father, was the first time my father told me he loved me. He was holding my hand, you know. It's crazy. Crazy. That whole fucking ordeal was crazy. You know, I told him to let me die, right? And, like, I guess they figured out that I had no medical insurance. So my bills were like $290,000 or whatever. They sent a representative up to the hospital to ask me how far. He sits down with me and he says, listen, I spoke with your friends and your family, and you know you did crazy things. You know, you do martial arts, you're into the bikes and this, that, and other things. You know, you bounce at these bars. You know, you can't do that stuff anymore. You know, I mean, you were tore up real bad. In fact, I'm here to ask you, how far do you want us to go with you? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I mean, you know, you're pretty messed up. I'm like, what? Now that you know I ain't got no medical insurance, you would have let me go? I said, I told you to let me die on that operating table. I said, you brought me back down. Now we're going for the long haul. You know what I mean? We're going for it, baby. Now I'm alive. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Lao Tzu. Well, it was the second robbery we did. We already hit one place. And in fact, we checked this place out first. And it looked like there were some cops or somebody hanging around there. So we ended up banging this other place. So we hit it, and I ended up having problems with my co-defendants. Go figure, the two that told on me, the two rats. They had some cheap guns, and they were pistol whipping these women, and the guns were going off. And they're busting them upside their head, and their guns are going off. And I freaked out. And basically, you know, I mean, there ain't no need for that shit. And I ended up capping one of the guys that was in the last joint before that. I told him, I said, man, you hit another one of them women, I'm blasting you and leaving you here now, you know? That shit was crazy, man. I mean, one thing about it, whenever I got into shit, there was no women, no children. I mean, it was already bad enough we were knocking these places off and there was women present. But I mean, to go ahead and hit them, that was out. You know, then their guns are going off. I was just freaking. So we ended up losing a co-defendant or two that night. So after that, that was the first robbery. The second robbery, we hit this other place, and it was the 1812 Ludlow job. And it was a house of prostitution ran by Thai and Korean women. And who owned it, who knows. But we went in there, rang the bell, they let us in. We ripped through the place. My boy pulled on him, pulled his piece on him. We went through the place. There was probably a little over a half dozen women working that night. Probably about 10 Johns working in there. About 10 Johns were in there. I mean, there's probably, I guess, about 10 women working in there. About 10 Johns were in there. And they were in the rooms. You go up. The way these places work is there's a greeting area. It's like a living room. They have a TV and fish tank or whatever. Then you would go upstairs, and there'd be rooms. side by side, and then they had a place where you go up and you get a sponge bath or whatever. They sponge, and they bring you into the room, and they did whatever they did, you know. So we went up into the rooms. A lot of the rooms were locked. We kicked the doors in, you know, collected the money off them and the hookers, and went around. It was like an Easter egg hunt. They're never going to tell you they're doing anything for money. They're not giving up any money. So the thing with these jobs was you had to gather them up, put these people in a room, and that's what we did. We gathered them up, we put them in a room. They were zip tied or taped up, and we went through the place. And money's everywhere because generally most of the people that are working these places don't use banks. They're illegals. There's just money everywhere. You know, you open up makeup cases or stacks of money under the beds, or stacks of money in the freezers, or stacks of money, and they had Barbasol cans, shaving cream. You open up a closet, there's 50 Barbasol cans. Who used that much shaving cream in 10 years? You know what I mean? You turn the things, they pop open. They were safes. There was just money everywhere. But the problem was you'd have to go through the place. And like I said, that really wasn't my MO, but that's what I was on then. So basically, we were robbing a place. I had these two idiot co-defendants that were with us. There was 4 of us total. And basically, everybody was tied up in the place except for the madame. The madam was serving everybody beers. We had her running around getting beers for everybody. So you want to make sure everybody was comfortable while we were doing this. It wasn't personal. It was just business. So we were running around doing that. And as you know, my buddy was supposed to, well, not my buddy, my co-defendant, rat co-defendant, Kirk Franz Sharansky, was in the back getting hit at gunpoint by a prostitute on the back steps while the madam walked right out the back door. The same guy that was beating these whims, you know, straight rapo. So the madam runs down the back to the alley, runs into a diner, 2:45 in the morning, screaming, "Men with guns rob, men with guns rob." I guess they got a bunch of hang-up calls, whatever the case may be. They were from the other robberies, but they were on point that night. They came, the Asian Organized Crime Task Force, Philadelphia Police Department, and SWAT showed up. So it was on and cracking when they showed up. We tried to blast our way through the upstairs. They had an air conditioner set up, you know, in the wall. We were trying to shoot the frame out of the thing and get up on the roof and split. But it was taking so long. I come down the back, down the steps. I tossed my piece inside a freezer, and I came out posing as one of the Johns. I figured they would just cut me loose, you know, set me to the side. Well, my dumb ass gets locked up right there. They pat me down. Oh, how many are there, man? There's 1,000 of them in there, man. There's people tied up everywhere, you know. So they end up putting me in the back of the car. So I'm like right in front of this place. It's an alleyway. And when I came out, it was funny. There had to be 50 lasers on me. They had snipers all over the place on the rooftops and everything. There was a saturation of police there. They were everywhere, you know. So they had it was like 3 steps off the alleyway right into the door, so I could literally see in the door. Now I'm locked in the back of this car. Meanwhile, another one of the co-defendants decides to make a break for it, the rat. So he runs out the front door, dives over the police car, and he's running down the sidewalk. Next you hear boom, 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 boom. I'm not resisting. You know, the cops got him. They're beating his ass down the end of the alley. And you know, I didn't know it then, but I know it now. Obviously, they probably asked him, "Who's in there?" And he said, "Crazy Kenny." Because 5 minutes later, they're at the door with a bullhorn and guys with ARs sitting by the door on either side of the door screaming, "Crazy Kenny, just put your guns down. Just put your guns down. We don't want to come. Just come out and put your guns down." Meanwhile, I was so retarded back then. I'm in the back of the car laughing my ass off. Somehow I found humor out of this whole fucking nightmare. Right? I'm in the back of the car laughing. It's retarded, right? So ultimately, they end up going in and they lock up everybody except for the females. because they didn't know who was Johns and who was robbers. So, you had one that ran down the alleyway. They didn't know I was one. They didn't know I was the crazy Kenny that they were calling for. And there was two still up in there. One got up on the roof. They got him. So they ended up locking us all up, putting us in vans. And then they had the female, and in cars, and had the females come and ID us. Is that one of them? Is that a robber? Is that a robber? They were all aged. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Albert Einstein. This is what happened. The two rats in the case, Isaac Tillman and Franz Sharansky, right away they turned informant. At state level, they turned informant. I mean, these guys weren't out of the parking lot before they started ratting. It was crazy. It's a long story, right? The one co-defendant that I did know, that I had, told me how solid these dudes were. They were good dudes. They were solid dudes. These dudes were telling before they got in the car. So anyway, they started telling on every crime that was unsolved and putting it on me. So I went 8 weeks straight, going from the county prison, being detained at the county prison, being brought back to Central Detectives every weekend for 8 weeks. Every Friday they would come re-arrest me and set my bail. They'd re-arrest me, charge me, set my bail in front of a TV monitor. So it came out to like $40 million cash bail. It was like, I had miles of a printout. The guy at the county jail was like, damn, man, what didn't you do, man? It was like, I didn't know anything about all this shit. But these guys were just putting everything on me. And ultimately, they proffered with the feds and basically told them that I did extortions and stuff for a certain motorcycle group out here that I was friendly with. And I was hitting people for a certain crime family that was out here. And these people were up to be tried. They came together at some point in the late 90s and they were up for trial. So they wanted me to tell on them. They actually, one day I thought I was being rearrested. It wasn't the Philadelphia police bringing me back to Central Detectives. It was the feds. So they brought me into the federal building. Told me to wait for my lawyer. I already told my lawyer that I was interested in speaking to nobody. So, bottom line, they wanted me to cooperate against not only the people that told on me, ultimately, they wanted me to cooperate on these people that weren't about to go to trial. This crime family and this biker group. And I basically told them it was not an option. Matter of fact, they came to me with a plea. And the plea was for 30 years and $2.5 million. The guy came all the way, because they had ended up adopting the case. And I told my lawyer, I said, listen, man, just give me the best plea I can get straight out. It's not an option to cooperate. Just give me the best plea you can get me and let's get this over with. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'll do 10 and walk, So anyway, he comes, I'm all the way out in Schuylkill. So he's just a couple hours away from Philly. He comes all the way out there to give me this plea. So I'm in a lawyer-client room. He brings me this plea for 30 years and $2.5 million. I'm like, for what? Robbing a couple houses of prostitutions ran by illegal aliens? $2.5 million? 30 years? I said, you serious? I said, a motherfucker right down the street just blew his next-door neighbor's wife's head off and got 15 years. I'm supposed to cop out the 30 years and $2.5 million? Are you out of your mind? I said, this is the best deal you can get me? He said, nah, man. He said, if you cooperate, he said, let me tell you something, Kenny. He said, every gun case you ever had, I beat everything you've ever had in the state. He said, so you don't have no firearm convictions. He said, let me tell you something. You cooperate, you take a deal with the feds and cooperate, we can go for this thing. It's called a 5K1 motion. And then you get downward depart, blah, 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 blah. He says, you won't do 4 years. He says, you really got nothing of record. Your criminal history is like nothing. I said, you know what? You're right, man. Let me get the pen. So he gives me the fucking the plea, and I sign it. I folded it up and handed it to him. He said, really? I said, yeah, man. Go ahead and give that to the United States District Attorney. So I didn't even bother shaking the dude's hand. I'm walking out the door. He opens it up. Man, I can't give this to him. I signed blow me on the fucking line. And after that, there was no more offers, baby. That was it. It was trial. Most wars are won or lost in our own heads. David Goggins. It was a 27-count indictment. I was only charged with 4 of the robberies. Each robbery had, it was the robbery, which was Hobbs Act robbery. Then you had conspiracy or aiding and abetting. And then you had the 924Cs, which was the gun charges. It's felon in possession and commission of a violent felony and furtherance of a violent felony. So that's what gave us all the time was the guns. Because what it was is the first one would be 5, 7, or 10, whether you possessed it, brandished it, or fired it. And then every other one would be ran consecutive to each other at 25 each. So mine was 5, 25, 25, 25. Like my one Cody, that the 2 co-defendants that told on us did all the robberies. One of my co-defendants only did 3. I did 4. And the original, the main guy, did 9. Okay, so they were facing 213 years each. The 2 cooperating co-defendants and my one co-defendant that went to trial with me, Adam. And basically, when we went to trial, the 2 solid dudes that Adam told me about, well, they turned immediately and they testified for 7, 8 days straight at trial against me. Didn't know me for anything. Just freestyled the whole way. Yeah. Bottom line, they took 207 years off each of their sentences to testify against me. Yeah. And the funny part about it was, I had 1 prior conviction at that time, and I did like 10 months in the county jail. You know, that's it. These guys had criminal records from when they were in fucking diapers. These dudes were vicious. That's why I always said, man, you know, these feds, the FBI, all this shit, it wasn't about right or wrong, good or bad, justice. It's about them. It was about getting a conviction. And they didn't give a fuck whether they got the good guy or the bad guy. It's not about protecting people in the streets. That's a joke, man. I'll tell you something, they put 2 incredibly violent, sick fucks back on the street to put me away. That's why the FBI are a bunch of clowns. The whole justice system is corrupt from the bottom up. So, I mean, it took 207 years off these people. These guys did like 4 years each. They put them back on the streets. These guys had records of sexual assaults and everything else. I didn't know these guys at the time. I found this all out later. I took the word of somebody that they were good guys. In fact, it was funny during trial. After the second guy testified on us for about 6, 7 days, we were all sitting there, my lawyers. It was me and my lawyer. He was fucking useless. And then we had Chuck Peruto, and he was my buddy's lawyer. And then we had this other Rocco dude. He was this other dude's lawyer, other co-defendant. And it's funny, I asked Adam. Adam's the one that told me how solid these dudes were. I said, let me ask you something, man. What do you think about these guys now? Are they solid now or what? They still good dudes? They're sitting there, the guys just, him. This guy's just like, one day in band camp. Oh my God, this guy was amazing. I literally had to get up in trial at one point because he was getting up, man. He talking about how I was a weapons expert. I was this. I'm banging people for the mob, and I'm fucking doing this for this motorcycle group, and I'm doing all this. I got up and said, they're fucking lying. I looked back at my mother like, Mom, they're lying. This is bullshit, man. I said, am I in the wrong trial? Objection, my ass. I should have knocked my fucking lawyer's teeth out right there and got a mistrial. You have two DAs against you generally. You have your lawyer and the DA. My lawyer had me signed for 80 years. I fought at effective assistance counsel and everything like that. But I mean, bottom line, he had me stipulate to the working order of a firearm, and this is how it worked. When I got arrested, when they busted me, they had detectives and all kinds of search crews going through this place and looking for guns, looking for all the co-defendants' guns. They never found my gun. My gun was buried in a freezer and underneath some fish and shit in this fucking brothel. They actually had a known hooker, a prostitute that ran the place, the madame, call the police station up and say, look, I'm one of the places that got robbed. I found a gun. And what do you want me to do with it? It was in the freezer. So what they were supposed to do was say, hey, hold on, man, back the bread truck up. Don't touch nothing. We're going to fingerprint the doors. We're going to fingerprint the gun, the clip, the bullets. There's got to be a proof of chain of custody here. But there wasn't. You know why? Because he said, nah, just bring the gun in. They told the madam, this known prostitute that ran a brothel, to just bring the gun in. That gun could have came from anywhere. It could have came from anywhere, man. So rather than suppress the gun, have a suppression hearing and suppress it, my lawyer says, well, listen, they're going to have an attorney get on. They're going to have an expert witness get on and say it's a gun and it fires. And you have to show that in order to charge me with these 924Cs. They have to show that there was a gun present, it was mine, and it fired. Okay. So, there was no, trust me when I tell you this, there was nothing that led me, that put that gun on me. There was no fingerprints on the clip. There was no fingerprints on one of the rounds. There was no fingerprints on the round in the pipe. There was no fingerprints on anything or anything that could tie me to that gun. They had a prostitute bring the gun in. So this guy could have got up on a stand all day long and talked about how the gun, it was a firearm and it fired. Who cares? It wasn't my gun. How can you put that gun on me? Well, you know how they did it? My lawyer had me stipulate to the working order of firearm to prevent this guy from getting on the stand. How would that have prejudiced me? So think about it. You're a juror and you're deliberating in the back and you're passing little papers around of proofs and this and that. And a paper comes on it and it's got my signature on it that I know it's a fire, that this is an actual working firearm. It's a gun and it fires. Of course you're going to find me guilty of it because I would have had to have firsthand knowledge. Why would I sign a piece of paper saying it was a gun and it fired if I never knew that that gun was even there, if that wasn't my gun? There's no such thing as a fair trial in the feds. You don't cooperate, you're dead. Crazy caddy. Deliberation was pretty quick, man. Usually if it takes a while, it's looking good. We got found guilty of all charges, except for one of my co-defendants. I got found guilty of all 4 charges. And my other co-defendant got found guilty of all 9. And my one Cody that was charged with 3 got found guilty of 1. All right. Well, we're down in a holding cell in the courthouse. And they start pulling us up for sentencing one at a time. So they bring my Cody Adam first. He was charged with all 9 of the robberies, and he got found guilty of them. So he goes up there. And anyway, he goes up there and comes down, I guess, about 20 minutes later. And they bring him into the holding cell. So I'm like, so what'd you get, bro? He's like, man, got 213 years. I said, my man. So we high five, right? All my buddies, all my mob guy buddies, they were in the other cell shaking their head like, holy shit, no way, right? They're pending trial in another cell. So anyway, I said, all right, let me go get mine. So as I'm walking out, my co-defendant says, hey, look, man, that Fed that called my family, he's up there. He said, just leave that shit alone for now. So I was like, well, yeah, all right. Right. So anyway, what he was talking about was basically throughout trial, it came out that some of these robberies, or one of them was considered an inside job. So that would have been exculpatory evidence if we could show that. Evidence that could have set us free on one of the jobs. So my co-defendant calls his family. They're out in Wisconsin. So obviously they're going to make some phone calls about it. Well, I guess whoever they called got nervous. They called the feds. So the feds, this FBI agent, calls up his family, and they're in like 70s in Wisconsin, and said, if you make one more call in regards to your son's trial, we're going to come to Wisconsin and arrest you for obstruction of justice. So one of the parents had a heart attack over it. So I just freaked. I mean, that's like, because this dude, he was the one guy that I was friendly with in this whole conspiracy. He was the one guy. I didn't even know these other dudes. I met them through him. So, I consider him a friend. So, look, I'm real loyal to my friends and my family. So when that happened with his family, it's like it happened to me. So I'm like, yeah, man, I'm cool. Ain't nothing wrong, man. We're good. We'll handle that someday, right? So anyway, we go upstairs. And we go into the courtroom, and the judge is in the back. He just gave some 26-year-old kid 213 years. So who knows what he's doing. He's probably in the back room getting off over it, So I come flying in, and there's like people crying in there, and because now it's real. I mean, everybody that was in my case other than me were young dudes. So, now they know, man. Look, man, I was 34 at the time. I'm all tattooed, blasted up. Most of these people were clean cut, these kids and all that. So they know I'm going to get roofed, And there was probably 70 people in the courtroom that were there for me. So I come in there, and it's funny. I fake right, because it was like this. When you walk into the courtroom, you had, our tables, it was me, my lawyer, my Cody, his lawyer. That's where we were at. And on the left side, it was the FBI agents and this jerk-off DA and the PSI guy, the probation guy, right? So I fake right, cut left. I come over the table on this dude, right? I said, check this out, man. You fucked with my fucking co-defendant's family. 70-some-year-old fucking people. You gave one a heart attack, you piece of shit. So I spit in his face, man. I'm trying to grab this dude. I said, man, you fuck with them, man. You fucked with them. Fuck with me, man. Fuck with my family. See what the fuck happens to you. You ain't gonna have a pair of bars that holds me back, bitch. Man, I went completely off. Like I said, he said it was followed by unprintable epitaphs in the newspapers. I don't even remember what I said, but it took a shitload of marshals to get me up off this dude, right? And what a piece of shit. These fucking feds. Anyway, as I'm walking by, and the district attorney's standing there next to the probation officer. And he's all smiling now. Because, I guess he was looking, he felt kind of funny. He was looking fucked up just giving a 26-year-old kid life. There wasn't a body in the case. Nobody got shot, nothing. He just gave a 26-year-old kid 213 years, right? So yeah, these people are like, right? They're like booing them, come on, really? So I look at him and I got right in his face. I'm like, what are you smiling about? You think this shit's funny? I said, if you ever make the motherfucking mistake, of letting me get anywhere near you, I'm gonna cut your head off and shit down your neck. Right? And then the fucking PSI guy's right beside him. I'm like, there's nothing you can do for me now, right? This dude goes over the railing. It was hilarious, man. Holy shit. So all my people are like, they're used to like state and county judges that, if you kiss their ass, they might fucking give you a little lenient, they'll be a little lenient on you. In the feds, you already know what you're getting. I'm getting 100 years. I'm getting booked, so it doesn't matter. I could care less. All my people are like, my followers, they're like, no, they're like, just calm down. What the fuck? I'm just losing it. I'm going ballistic, right? So I calm down and I sit down by my lawyer, and my lawyer tells me, look, man, calm down. We don't have to do this. I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, look, man, they still want to work with you. I said, work with me? What are you talking about? Man, there's still a deal on the table. I said, I just blew trial. You just gave my co-defendant 213 years. You want to work with me? So I stood up and I basically told him, I said, check this out, man. I said, I'm going to get this perfectly clear in court so everybody understands. There will never be a day. There will never be a fucking time that I help the fucking government or any other law enforcement get a conviction. I'm here for sentencing today. Now fucking sentence me. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Winston Churchill. Well, with me, when I got into the system, I wasn't trying to be a part of anything. But as a white guy, I'm Jewish, but I'm white, in the system, most of the cool, solid dudes all join these Aryan groups, like the Aryan Brotherhood, or the Dirty White Boys, or SAC, SAW, Aryan Circle, ABTs, TABs. There's like a million of white gangs. And, they all, they idolize Adolf Hitler, right? Now, I come from a Jewish family, so that wasn't an option, for one. For two, I'm not racist by any means. So, I wasn't going in there to fake it to make it. And Adolf Hitler's a lame anyway. So, he was a chomo anyway. He wanted to marry his 13-year-old niece, so to me, he's just a rapo anyway. So, I wouldn't represent anything like that. I gravitated to some, Spanish friends and stuff like that. When I first came in, you really couldn't hang with it. They try to keep you divided, the officers and the inmates. With the bullshit prison politics that they have, they try to keep the tension. They try to keep us divided. It's like divide and conquer. They separate us by race, by gangs, by geographical zones, by, some of the dudes that were hot in your case, they're over here, you got people that, the undesirable, so to speak, they got them separated over there, or, they're fed to the active people to get moved on. But, they keep us separated. Ultimately, I gravitated to them. A lot of Puerto Rican guys and stuff I became friendly with. The head of the Latin Kings, at Big Sandy. And I met him through someone I came there with. And we ate together, we worked out together, and I started hanging with all his brothers. And ultimately, that's who I hung with. And one day he told me, he said, Kenny, he said, you hang out with these white dudes, you got swastikas all over and all when you're in the chow hall eating with these dudes. He says, these dudes look at you like you're blacker than the black dudes. He says, you're Jewish. They think you're, they're like, check this out, man. He says, anytime you want to eat with us, you might as well, you run with us anyway. You work out with us, you hang out with me all the time. He says, look, man, you're more than welcome at our table. So it's funny is one day I've been to chow hall. And when you came through the chow hall, those lines went like this. Then you would get your food and you would come down the center and be like a salad bar here, a salad bar here. All the white guys were up here on the right and stuff. And on the left there was a table. There was Latin Kings, Black P Stones, Vice Lords. They were all our cousins that would sit at that table. So one day I get my food, I'm getting a salad, and I just stopped it, man. It just hit me. I'm like about to go right. I was like, you know what, man? And I cut left. I walked over in front of the table. My buddy looked up at me and he was like, no doubt. He says, all right, man. He asked, are you done eating? He's like, yeah. He says, oh, get up, man. This dude's sitting with us. This is where he's going to sit from now on. So I ended up hanging out with him from that day forward, full time. And ultimately, if I eat with you and I hang with you, you're my friends, you're my bros. I mean, even though I wasn't a Latin King, I mean, you're my people. And I've always been a real loyal guy. Bottom line is I'm not going to eat with you and do all that. And then when it gets tough and something happens, walk away. And I'll never forget the first time that we ended up getting in it with the Bloods. And we got, I'm in the chow hall. We come out and they said, look, man, go back to the block. We got some business to handle. Right? I kind of caught wind of what was going on. But, king business is king business, they didn't, even though I ran with them and all that stuff, when it came down to actual business, that was none of my business, So they told me to go get somewhere. So I go up to the unit, I look out the window and I see them out there. There's gotta be 80 Bloods out there. And I look out the window and there's like 20 of us, 9 King friends of mine. So I go to my buddy, I'm like, look, man, I need a knife. And he said, for what? He says, you ain't getting involved with that stuff out there, are you? I'm like, man, come on, they're my dudes. I said, man, come on, man, give me a piece. So he brings me out 2 fucking meat cleaves, 2 butcher knives like this. So he's like, man, you're crazy, man. You go get yourself killed. I mean, give me the fucking knives. So I grab the knives, put them on. I go outside. I walk right past the cops. Cops are looking at me like, what the fuck? They're like, Sternberg, where you going? I mean, where does it look like I'm going? So I go out to the yard and I get in line. I go out there with all the guys. You had all the Bloods around the outer end of the field. And then there was us. And then there was the heads of the guys talking out there. Politicking. So I don't forget the fucking, one of the brothers looks at me, he says, what the hell are you doing? I said, man, it's work call, baby. And I pulled out the 2 pieces and he was like, you crazy ass white boy. Are you out of your mind? I said, man, come on, pay attention. So from there on in, everywhere we went, I was always there with them, for them. I didn't have to be a bro to die for my people. You know what I'm saying? If I'm with you, I'm with you. So from one place to the next place that I was at, I was always there. These were my guys. So they started asking me, hey, man, let us bring you home, man. Come on, let us bring you home. Let's make me a Latin King. I told them, I'm not trying to be a part of anything like that, bro. I said, come on, man, I'm not even Puerto Rican or Latin or Mexican or whatever. And it's funny. It was after a couple more incidents, my friend, Bro, came in one day in the cell and he slapped me in the head with the fucking manifesto. He said, check this out, man. He says, I already put letters out there. You're in the book of life as a Latin King in Chicago and in New York. He said, so get to learn your paperwork. We're not asking no more. You are, bro. So that's how it all started with the Latin Kings. We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. Maya Angelou. 5 days later, they sent me to Lee County to be hit. The cops took a hit out on me. And bottom line, I tried to stop it. I tried to stop the transfer. It wasn't going to happen. I knew where I was going. Latin Kings don't walk that yard anymore because we got into it forward to Central America, Nicaraguans, Hondurans, and El Salvadorians. We got into it with them. It was like a bloodbath. So they said they weren't going to let Latin Kings back on that yard ever again. So they send me there. So I get to the place, and I go through R&D, and you go through medical, and you go through to see your counselor, you see everybody, and you get in front of the lieutenants. The lieutenant looks at me, he says, "Sit down, what's your name?" And I told him, "My name's Ken Sternberg." He said, "Okay." He opens up my folder, he says, "Oh, the hell no, you're a Latin king?" I said, "I ain't no Latin king." He said, "Oh man, Latin kings don't walk here, man. It says here you're a Latin king." I'm like, "Man, I'm not a Latin king, I'm white. How can I be a Latin king?" Right? So we go back and forth. I said, "Look, man, just because I take a picture with somebody," because at the time I had no Latin king tattoos on me, you know? Because my whole objective was to get on that yard. Being they wanted to send me to be hit, I'll get on that yard, hit one of these Central Americans, set it off, make them regret ever trying to set me up. I knew they were trying to set me up. So anyway, the fix was already in. They weren't letting me on the yard. So they put me in the shoe pending captain's review. And he said, "Well, let him decide what they want to do with you." So I'm in the shoe. I try to go to rec the next day. There's no rec. This was like June 18th, 2008. So the next day I go to rec, June 19th, 2008. When I go on the rec cage, they put 5 white supremacist gang members in with me. It was an armed dude, a couple different dudes in there, ABs, fucking skinhead dude. Anyway, the one guy I knew him. I remember seeing him at Big Sandy. He used to bite people's noses off, bite their ears off. Hungry dude, they called him Tattoo. So he's like, "Hey, let me holler at you, man. You Crazy Kenny, right?" I said, "Yeah." So I go up there and I holler at him. Meanwhile, the 4 guys behind me took off on me and knocked me out. I never seen it coming. So they used my head as a kickball for about 15 minutes while the cops stood there and laughed. They basically held me up and drop kicked me, tried to take my head off my shoulders. You know, a lot of people were really amazed I made it through that one. I must have 9 lives. You know? Yeah, but I made it and came out pretty bad though. You know, they kicked my eye socket, broke out an orbital fracture. Killed all the nerves here. They busted me all up pretty bad, you know, and normal shit, only a little bit worse. I mean, you can imagine 5 guys kicking your brains in for 15 minutes, how much can get done. So, it's just another one I survived. Yeah. Fucking Lady Gaga. Yeah, okay. All right. I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be real. Lady Gaga. Bottom line was, I was into her mother big time. I was really attracted to her mother. Her mother wanted a baby. And I wanted whatever her mother wanted. You know what I'm saying? I never thought about, well, God, I want to be a father. I was like, you know what I mean? Back in the day, I was just this fucking kid, man. Look, I wanted this girl, and she wanted a kid. Just go for it. You know what I mean? I give her whatever she wants. She likes it, I love it. So, go ahead, I got her pregnant. We had a kid. And, you know, I wasn't exactly the most mature person in the world back then. We were partying and, you know, with the bike scene and the race cars. And, I mean, I was working at a rock club at the time. You know, I didn't take any of that seriously. So I was basically a failure when it came to a father. I was an MIA father. I guess it's better than being a abusive father. But I definitely wasn't there. You know, for the first 10 years of my kid being around, I mean, she was beautiful. It's probably the only thing I've ever done right. She was absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, I was so messed up on the drugs and everything else and doing the crazy Kenny life that the mother really had a lot to do with that because me and her mother went at it constantly after that. She got what she wanted. She really only wanted a kid. I guess she wanted a sperm donor, and I was perfect for that, you know? So, we got in a lot of arguments. She tried to get me locked up a couple times, so my friends obviously didn't like her. So it made it real hard to be a part of my daughter's life. And with that said, I just moved on. And the next time I seen my kid, I guess I started seeing her periodically prior to me catching my case and catching the 85 years, 10 months that I was sentenced to. Next time I saw her, she was 20. She came to visit me in Terre Haute prison. I was in shock, man. I walked out, I almost walked past her. She was a grown woman, man. Beautiful. She had her mama's eyes, blew my mind. I couldn't apologize enough to her for not being there. You know, and I tried to tell her, I was like, look, you're beautiful. You're the best thing I ever did in life. You know, bottom line is, you know, I was crazy about your mom. Your mom wanted a baby. I wanted what your mom wanted. And here you are. I said, but I was just immature. I was fucked up on drugs, running around being crazy, chasing chicks and doing crazy shit. So I was, you know, I never thought what it would be like to be a dad. I missed all those great years of her growing up because I was doing the crazy Kenny life. You know what I mean? I was never there for her, and you know, I couldn't apologize enough to her. It was funny. It's crazy. She said, I forgive you. She says, you know what I remember about you, Dad? And I was like, what? She goes, you used to come over with like whatever your flavor of the week was, girlfriend. You always had pretty girlfriends. And he'd pick me up, and you know, whatever hot rod you were driving around, and you always had cool cars, and we'd go out, and you'd take me out to dinner, and you'd take me shopping, and, you know, he'd buy me all kinds of candy and makeup and whatever, and we'd have a great time. And he'd drop me off, and like 6 months later, I'd see you again. I felt like such a straight piece of shit, you know? It was crazy. Like, damn, what the fuck? Oh, man, I couldn't apologize enough to her, man. Like, whew. I just never thought about it back then. It was, you know, getting around her mother was terrible. She'd like to call the police. That was something, you know, I didn't do. And I didn't hang around people that did it. And I wasn't exactly the most lawful person in the world. So it's just my life and that life did not mix. Be persistent and never give up hope. George Lucas. Ultimately, being the fact that I wasn't sentenced to the death penalty and I had all these medical issues, along with the fact that the way the law was, if I were to do the same crimes today and get sentenced them today, I wouldn't have done more than 7 years. So he tells me to go mail this to the court. So I mail it to the court. I mail it to the DA. And it's funny, man. Within 90 days, I had no hope. Within 90 days, the DA took my fucking side and said, cut him loose. And they cut me loose at immediate release. I found out in the mail, this is your copy of the judge's order for immediate release. I almost passed out. Mail call, you know? So I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I couldn't believe it, right? So anyway, now it's time to lock back in the cell. This is why I was out getting a shower. So I'm in there. So a couple days go by. Now, mind you, that this thing was signed the Wednesday before. So the court ordered it the Wednesday before. So now, this is Monday when I got the paperwork. Monday goes by. Tuesday goes by. Wednesday goes by. In the middle of Wednesday, my counselor comes by. None of these people do their jobs. It's a joke, man. These guys get free paychecks, man. It's amazing. I told you before, man. When a fry guy can't get a job, you can get a job in the BOP. These clowns get money at hand over fist. No wonder corrections is the best job out there now. Right? So anyway, the guy goes by and knocks on the door. He's checking on people. My case manager. These people multitask. They don't do their own jobs. They're busy doing everybody else's jobs. That's why nothing gets done right. They spread themselves so thin. So anyway, he's like, what's up, Sternberg? I said, man, you remember the petition I put in to get released? He said, yeah, don't worry about it, man. This stuff takes time. You might get a play. You never know. I'm like, you don't know? He said, no, what? I said, man, I got immediate release. He stopped fucking with me, Sternberg. Come on. I said, check this out, man. Since when do I fuck with you, man? Since when do I play with you? He says, oh, yeah, well, show me a copy of it. So I go get it. I slide it on the door. He looks at it and goes, oh, shit. Bam, he takes off. Because, I mean, bottom line is, yo, man, these people could get in trouble. I mean, bottom line is, I was supposed to be on the streets already a week ago. So they're responsible. If anything would have happened to me, it would have been on. You know, I could have sued the shit out of him if I survived. So he comes back. He says, man, pack your shit now. So they bring me down, and now everybody's kissing my ass, you know. The fucking secretaries, the case manager, the counselor, everybody. Oh, sign here, Mr. Sternberg. Mr. Sternberg? It's Mr. Sternberg now? Are you serious? Right? That was like hanging pearls on a pig, man. You go, Mr. Sternberg? Oh, wow, how about that? Everybody's kissing my ass, right? Hey, we got to get you off this unit. You're out of here by 11 tomorrow. So they literally locked me up in some other unit alone. And then the next day, they brought me to R&D, packed up my stuff, and walked me out to Uber. My first Uber. I didn't even know what Uber was. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like a half hour in the Uber, right? Lady's super nice. I'm not used to people being nice to me, you know? I mean, everybody's like fucking miserable. All the people that work in the prison system, you know? So I got this nice lady, little southern lady. We're kicking a bit, laughing, talking about my case, da-da-da. Anyway, she drops me off in like, not Orlando, I forgot where it was at. Ocala or something like that, at a bus station. Right? I've never taken a bus before, like a Greyhound, you know? I mean, every time I take a bus, it's in shackles and chains and, you know, boxed. I'm like this, can't even move, so this is going to be new for me, you know? Anyway, so I get there, there's a 4-hour wait before the bus comes. So I go walk in, there's like a big store and all that, there's an Arby's. Whew. So I walk in there, and I'm like, this is for the first time in 21 years, I got money in my pocket, right? And I'm going to buy something. And this in itself is going to be an experience, you know? So there's like 3 people ahead of me. I'm sitting there in Arby's. I'm looking at the menu. I'm like, oh, my God. I see the commercial. We got the meats. But I mean, damn, right? I'm like, what the fuck do I order, right? So now it's becoming a reality that I'm free. Like, it's not to really hit me yet. So I'm like, wow, I'm fucking in Arby's. I'm looking at everybody. And I'm looking. It's just crazy, right? So if one person goes, and now it's like one person left, I'm like, now I'm getting nervous, right? I'm like, damn, I might need more time, right? So the next person goes, and I'm looking, and they're like, can we help you? And it's like, all of a sudden, I start sweating. I'm shaking. I'm like, holy shit, right? They're like, sir, are you okay? Right? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm all right. I'm like, wow, oh my God, I don't even know what to order. They're like, what's up? I said, man, I'm so happy right now. They're like, what's up? I said, I just got out. I just did 21 years in prison, right? They're like, oh, okay. I'm like, man, just order for me. I like roast beef. Just order something for me. So I get the roast beef and some curly fries and a soda. And it seemed like everybody was staring at me. I'm just like blown away by this whole thing. I can't believe I just paid for something. That was crazy. Just paying, just reaching in my pocket and paying for something just blew me away. I was like, whoa, oh my God. So I get a table and I put my food up there. Now I got to go up and get a drink. There's like a gazillion things to choose from. So I get it. I get the napkins and all the stuff. I sit down. It just seemed like everybody was staring at me. It was crazy. I felt like I was like in a lens like this. I'm serious. I look over like, looking at people. I'm just freaked out. Meanwhile, I got like this smile on my face, and I could not, my face hurt. I was smiling so hard. I felt retarded, you know what I mean? It's like, whew, I can't believe it. I'm fucking out. That had to be the best roast beef sandwich I ever ate in my life. Unbelievable. I'm out. It's like I got change in my pocket. I want to make a call. I want to tell somebody. So I'm looking all over the place for a fucking payphone, right? I'm walking all over the whole, I'm like, man, there's got to be a payphone here. I'm walking up and down the park lot. I'm over by the street. I'm seeing things that could be a payphone. I'm looking, there's not a payphone. So finally, there's this dude out there that's selling shit out of his car. I guess, and he offered people rides, saying it was a bus station. So we become buddies. I'm talking to him a little bit. We become buddies. I'm like, I don't want to sound stupid, man, but I asked you something. He said, what's up? I said, where's the fucking payphone at? How come there's no payphone here? He said, payphone? Well, like the thing you put change in to make a call? I'm like, yeah, payphone, man. He starts busting out laughing at me, right? I'm like, what? He's like, man, you've been in for a while, bro. He said, there's no more payphones. I was like blown away by this. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to make a call? And he was just like, what's the number? And he called it. Yeah, I was just, wow. I mean, nothing is the same. Believe you can, and you're halfway there, Teddy Roosevelt. I got nothing coming. After 21 years, and I did 15 of them, too many, they gave me $45 and kicked me to the curb. Had my father not been there, I would have been hit. I could never understand how people would come and go in the prison system. I used to get mad because I'll never have that chance. I used to remember, how can you fuck up, man? You in here doing time with me, knowing that I'm never gonna have a chance. You just keep coming back. People come back, guess who's in R&D again? Oh, you should drive me crazy, man. I won't even fuck with them dudes again. We ain't got nothing in common, but now I see. Because all those programs, especially in Florida, man, they were definitely ex-convict, not friendly. They make most of their money in corrections in Florida. They got a gazillion prisons in Florida. But once you get out, you got nothing coming. It's like a setup. I couldn't get medical. I could get nothing. Nothing. I wasn't eligible for shit. Everything I tried to get, I couldn't get. 21 years in the system. I wasn't exactly a 9-to-5er on the street. So, I mean, I come out now, what am I supposed to do now? Thank God, man, I saved like $3,600 in prison. I put it up, so at least I had some money when I got out, other than the 45 they gave me. And I had a home to go to. And I got people that really give a fuck about me. I said, because if that wasn't the case, man, it's amazing, man. They say they got all these programs, it's all bullshit. Just like the programs that are in prison. It's bullshit. It's a fucking lie. And the system's set up for you to fail. They keep talking about the recidivism rate. Everybody's coming right back. Oh, because we're all scumbags. No, it's not. Think about it, man. Put yourself in my shoes. You come out of prison after 21 years with nowhere to go. They say I didn't have anywhere to go. Think about it. What are you going to do? Let me tell you something. When they let me out, if I didn't have a place to go and I wasn't cool enough to save some money, if I wasn't smart enough to keep a little money just in case, what would my choice have been? One thing for sure, two things for certain. I want to eat. I don't give a fuck about the law, especially after seeing what it's about now. The entire justice system, the way it is. The only difference is they make you into monsters in the system. After 21 years, I'm institutionalized. I don't know shit about the street. What if I had nowhere to go? What if I didn't save a couple dollars? What do you think I would have done? Think about it. I'm going to revert back to what I know. I'm going to pick up a fucking gun and I'm going to eat. Thank God I had a few friends that love me and people don't want to see me go back. But now I understand. This system is so bogus. Everybody's making money except the people that really need it. There's nothing for nobody out there. People that get out, there's nothing. The only difference is now they're more fucked up in the head from doing all this crazy time. These draconian sentences that people are being sentenced to. Ridiculous. They got people jammed up on psychotropics. All these people, you know what's funny? All these people that are out shooting these places up, schools and libraries and churches and malls. I couldn't even imagine doing something like that. Could you imagine, you know what these all had in common? They're all coming off of fucking psychotropics and shit that they're fucking pushing in prison. They won't give you pain medication. They use the side effects from psychotropics to help with pain. They push psychotropics like crazy because then you're easily manageable. If you're walking around drooling on yourself, they don't have to worry about you. Once again, they don't have to worry about doing their job. Free money. They keep you in a fucking coma walking around prison. Thank God I never let them put me on that shit. It was temporarily, I had them put me on a nerve medication, which I didn't know was that. I was in so much pain. And they put me on a medication that was a psychotropic, but it had a different name, and I didn't know it. So I went on this medication. It didn't help that much with the pain at all. But when I got home and I went off it, I was a fucking snapcase. I was getting into it with my father over every little stupid thing, withdrawing off the stuff, and I had no idea I was doing it. I was snapping on everything. These fucking justice system, these people that run this Bureau of Prisons is creating monsters and are releasing them onto the streets. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. Mae West. I've been around people and have seen things that were truly disturbing. And I don't feel that the things that I have done are at that caliber, so to speak. You follow me? I mean, yes, I guess some people may feel uncomfortable with the things that I say or the things that I've done. That person, I'm different. I'm not that person anymore. Thank God. You know, I grew up, I matured. Not everybody matures. Not everybody grows up. Everybody grows old. But I grew up and I matured and I had an opportunity to better my life and to try something different. You know, Confucius said, if the story's over, close the book, right? So, I mean, that story's over. It's time to start a new one, and I am cleaning my life up and doing things a whole lot differently now. But I'm not shocked by the things that I've done in the past, but they could be shocking to someone that would be square, so to speak, just a citizen. I would like to just be a citizen now. You know, I just want to enjoy life and be normal. That's what I'm doing. But back in the day, I was just surviving. So I wasn't thinking about repercussions. I wasn't thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to go to jail, or how much time I would do, or even if I would get caught. I just did what I had to do. I kept my eyes on the prize, and if I saw something I needed to get, I just went and got it, or took it, or did whatever I had to do to get it done. And I didn't think about any repercussions. You know, I believe that when they talk about mandatory minimums and all these crazy sentences and making people aware of what they could possibly get, when you're out there trying to survive, the last thing you're thinking about is how much time you're going to get, or even if you're going to get caught. You're on autopilot. It is what it is. You know, my life has changed, and I'm not like that anymore. But the things that I have told did happen, and my life's still crazy. It's just not unlawfully crazy anymore.